Welcome to the next session of Python programming course, which is control flow tools in Python programming. In this session, we are going to learn how the program control goes from one point to another point, whether it's going to be repeating the same task again and again, or leaving a particular task, that is taking decision whether to execute the particular line or not. So those kind of controls, how it actually being done in Python. That's what we are going to see in this particular session, which is more interesting, right? Now we will go into the session, the control flow tools. It actually comes with a command called as looping command. So what is actually loop, right? If I have a sequence of statements, if I need to do that sequence again and again, that is a set of statements I need to execute again and again for a particular period of time or particular number of time, then I can use something called as looping. I usually have two kinds of looping in Python, where one is for loop and other is while loop. We will see for loop first. So what is for loop? So for loop is actually a looping or a control flow tool which will actually make a set of statement to get repeated for a range of time, right? For it is, if I give you it a range, or if I give it a value, until that value is satisfying a condition, it will perform that particular execution again and again. That's what the use of for loop. For example, if you see here, I have for letter in AEIOU. For letter in AEIOU. The in here serves not as a word, it is actually an operator, in operator, that is membership operator. Letter is actually variable here, that is, it is going to be a storehouse of data, variable. So for letter in AEIOU, where AEIOU is a string because it is enclosed in double quotes, letter in AEIOU will give me all the individual characters in the string one by one. So I'm saying print vowel, that is I'm giving in double quotes, so print vowel comma letter. So what will actually happen? I will get A first, next E, next I, next O, next U. Actually the same statement is being executed, but the value of the letter will be changing in each time. That I call it as iteration. Each time I execute a particular statement, I'll get a different value, right? So each execution is called as iteration, iteration, stated here, the iterating variable. So a letter is going to be the iterating variable which will execute the statement print vowel comma letter through the base condition AEIOU. Here AEIOU serves as the base through which I'm actually printing the letters. Second, if I say for I in list 1 comma 2 comma 3, I will get then print I, then I'll get 1, 2 and 3. That is, the elements are actually printed one by one. I can also use a very good function called as range, right? So this range is also will have a start index 0 and an end index 3. We have already seen it in a slice operator colon about the start and end index. The same principles will work here. I will start from 0, that is the start index. I'll go till the end minus 1, right? If I go with this is an end index, I should go till n minus 1. So 0, 1, 2 will be printed if I say for I in range of 0, 3. If I say I in range of 0, 5, I'll get 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4, right? This is with respect to the for loop and the membership operator. So the syntax is very easy for an iterator variable var in some sequence. You can give some sequence. The sequence can be a string or a list or a range function also, right? So this is with respect to the for loop, and I can have a set of statements which will be executed until that sequence is actually valid. Here If you see, I am writing for where in sequence and giving a colon. All control flow tool should be written with the end given as colon. The end should be given as colon, right? Next, the subsequent statements should be written with a tab space. The subsequent statement should be written with a tab space, meaning that the set of statements will be within this for loop. So if I write the next statement starting from F, then it means that I came out of the for loop. So space, the tab space means a lot for loop. So all the statements after this tab space are said to be within this for loop. And those which came out of the tab space will be considered as statements outside the for loop. Those statements will not be executed again and again, right? So these things we will see in practical session also. Here, if you see, Python has various range functions, such as range of function, X range of functions, everything, right? Both create a sequence of integers, but range of creates a list while X range of creates an X range object, right? It is one will create a list of numbers and other creates an object. We will see what is object later, right? It is not actually required when we are actually dealing with preliminary data types, right? Those objects are actually higher level numbers. For smaller ranges, I will not use objects. I will not use X range. I will go with range itself, right? So if you use X range, nothing that you will also get the same result, but usually it is used for large number of values, a large range. If I need, I can say X range, right? If I say here, range of 0, 4 or X range of 0, 4. I'll get 0, 1, 2 and 3 up to this. Next I say for I in range of start is 0, end is 8 and next I have the another parameter here which is actually the increment. How much increment I need to make. So you need to increment the start. By default, the increment value is 1. So only in the first case when it is 0, 4, the third parameter is by default 1. So only you are getting 0, 1, 2, 3 increments by 1. Here you have 0, 8, 2. So the increment will be respect to 2. 0, next plus 2, 2 plus 2, 4 plus 2, 6 and 6 plus 2 will give me 8. I know that the end index should not be taken into consideration. So the end index will not come, the end item. Similarly, I can also specify 20, 14, minus 2. So it will start with 20 minus 2, 8, minus 8, that is 18. 18 minus 2 is 16. 16 minus 2 will give me 14, but I know the end value 14 should not be taken. So I stop with 16. This is how the range function will work with 3 parameters. We know that range function can work with 2 parameters with the default value for the third parameter as 1. If you change the default value to any other numbers, the incrementation will take place accordingly. This is with respect to the for loop with range. Now going to some small programs. If I have a program like this, say for it as a prime number calculation program, I am going to calculate prime numbers in the range 10 to 20. So what I will do for num in range of 10, 20, if I'm going for a next control statement called as if, which is a conditional statement, this conditional statement will execute a particular statement if its condition becomes true. If the condition in it is false, then the subsequent statement within it will not be executed, right? So this is a thing to understand here. For if it is saying if num modulo 2 is double equal 0, right? I initially will get 10. 10 modulo 2 is 0. 0 equals 0 will give me true. So the condition becomes true. So I'll execute the statement within the if block. The statement within the if block is actually another keyword called as continue. So what is that continue is? Continue will not make your program to proceed further. It will actually make your program to execute the next iteration directly before proceeding to the next line. It will actually again go to the for loop, next 11. 11 modulo 2 equals 0, no, false. Next goes to if it is false, then I can go to the next line. If it is continue, I should not go for loop. I should go for the outer for loop. Here this for is actually inside this for loop. So if it is continue, I should go back. I should not continue to these for loops. I should continue is for not this. Continue means go back here. That's what continue means, right? So 11 will go here for I in range of 3 comma num. I'm saying 3 comma num. Why? Because we know 2 is the smallest prime number. So we actually take 2 directly as a prime number. So the comparison will take from 3. So if 11 is going to be divisible by any of the number between 3 and num, then I should not say it as a prime number. If a number 11 mod I, right? 11, my number is 11 now, mod 3 is equal to 0, no. Next 11 mod 1, 11 mod 2, sorry, actually starting with 3, so 11 mod 3, 11 mod 4, 11 mod 5, dot, 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 up to, I did not check 11, why? Because the last number is actually 11. So I need to check up to 10, up to from 3 to 10, I need to check. So it will check from 11 to 11 mod 3 to 11 mod 10. It will check one by one. And if any one number is going to be divisible, it will say break. What is break is come out of the current looping statement. What is the current looping statement? This for loop. If I say break, it will come out of this for loop and goes here. There is a difference between continue and break. When I say continue, you just go to the first looping statement directly. If it is break, stop the execution of the current looping statement. It is stopping, but here it is continuing. That is actually the difference. If the number comes that is not divisible by any of the numbers from 3 to number minus 1, then I'll come out and I'll say print number is a prime number. I say the number is a prime number, right? I'll say like that. This is actually a simple prime number program using control flow tools. That is, we have various statements here. That is break, which terminates the current loop. Continue, which immediately begin the next iteration of the loop. I'll go for the next iteration. I have statements like pass. Pass means do nothing, right? We use when a statement is required syntactically alone. So don't use always. That is pass. Else represent a set of statements that should execute when a loop terminates. When the loop terminates, you have to use this. So that is actually the different control flow statements, right? So now we have seen how for loop executes, how if statement will execute. We have many other control statements like if else, if, and everything. We will also have a look on it in a hands-on session, right? So in this session, we have seen how a control flow statement will take place. Here we have seen the for loop, that is the looping statement which will execute a particular statement again and again. Then we have seen conditional statement if, which will actually execute a statement if a particular condition is satisfied. In the next hands-on video, we will see how a for loop is actually used to perform various iterations among group of statements. We will see different type of if or if else statement available in Python, right? Thank you.